Rob here at etrailer.com, and today you're going to be taking a look at the CURT Class 3 custom fit trailer hitch receiver on our 2019 GMC Canyon. Now here's what our hitch is going to look like once we have it installed. The cross tube is going to be completely hidden behind the bumper, and the only thing we're going to see really is that receiver tube sticking out. And since it's a Class 3, it's going to give us that 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube opening and have really the widest variety of accessories when it comes to options we can put in there. Whether we want to take some bikes with us, we can put a bike rack in there, make some room on the inside of the cabin or the bed with a cargo carrier, or maybe we need to carry some really elongated gear and we can get a bed extender. Or maybe we just need to move a trailer. Maybe we're going down to the lake to have some fun with a jet ski, a boat, or pull a camper. Either way, however we're going to be using it, we're going to be using the hitch pin hole here on the side to mount all of those accessories up. Our hitch is going to accept a standard 5/8 pin and clip. Now, these do not come with the hitch, but you can pick them up here at etrailer.com along with some locking devices and anti-rattle devices to make sure all those accessories are going to be nice and secure. Now, if you're going to be pulling a trailer, obviously you need a spot to hook up your safety chains. And here we're going to have a plate style. This will be a loop drop down from the center of our receiver tube, which means we're going to have a lot of room because our pin and clip's not going to interfere with it. And even with some of these really oversized hooks, we'll have a pretty easy time getting them hooked on or taking them off. And the same thing's going to be said with the smaller hooks. We've got plenty of room to get them on or off. Now, if you're looking for a hitch for your Canyon, obviously you have something you want to do and you want to make sure that the hitch is going to be up to the task you put it to. So as far as the weight rating goes, our hitch is going to have a 900-pound tongue weight. That's going to be the maximum downward pressure at the end of the receiver tube. And to put that in perspective, that's going to be plenty enough to carry even up to 5-6 bikes on a bike rack, really maximize the carrying capacity of those really large cargo carriers. Now, as far as the gross trailer weight rating goes, it's going to have a 6,000-pound rating. That's how much it can pull, but that does include the trailer and everything we have loaded on top of it. Now, the hitch is ready for use with weight distribution systems as well, and that's going to be a separate component that you have mounted on your trailer. The tongue weight's going to stay the same, but the weight distribution is going to bump the gross trailer rating up to 8,000 pounds. Now, with all those numbers in mind, you do want to double check your Canyon's owner's manual because that's the ratings for the hitch, and we don't want to exceed the manufacturer's rating for our truck. I'd like to give you a few measurements, and these are going to help you when you're looking for accessories for a new hitch, like a ball mount, a bike rack, or even a cargo carrier. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the outermost edge of the bumper is right about 3 inches. Now, that measurement is going to help you when you're looking at folding accessories to make sure you can put them in the upright stored position and they're not going to come in contact with the rear bumper. From the ground to the inside top edge of the receiver tube opening is right about 20 inches. Now, that measurement is going to help you out when you're looking for a ball mount so you can find the appropriate riser drop to match it up to your trailer. But now that we've seen what our hitch looks like and gone over some of the features, let's walk through the installation together. To begin your installation, you want to lower down your spare tire so we have a little bit more room to work underneath. If you've never lowered one down before, we're going to have a little door over on the passenger side of our rear bumper. We'll open up the door. You want to gather your spare tools from underneath the rear seat, and we can put all the rods together, and we're going to turn them counterclockwise, and that'll release this cable and lower down the spare tire. Now we can move underneath our truck. Now, directly above where our spare tire was, we're going to have this cradle, and there's going to be 4 bolts holding it in place. We're going to grab a 13mm socket and pull all 4 bolts out. Now, once we get all the hardware removed and this bracket, we want to hold on to it because we are going to reinstall it. Now, in the back of that bumper structure here, where we just removed those bolts, we want to pull these U-nuts off. So just kind of take a flat blade screwdriver, kind of open them up a little bit, and slide them off, just like that. Now, that cradle that we removed that was above our spare tire, we want to take those U-nuts, and the section that's going towards the rear of our truck, we're going to slide those U-nuts in place. Just want to make sure that the nut section is facing up, away from the spare tire. We can set this aside so we can reinstall it later. Now, we need to remove the bumper beam that's behind our bumper here, but it's also attaching our bumper to our truck. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a couple jack stands and put them underneath the corner of our bumper on each side. That way we don't have to worry about it falling down. Now, since ours is on a lift, we're going to use a pole jack But if yours is on the ground, you can use a regular jack stand or whatever you have to hold your bumper in place. When we put our jacks underneath, we don't want a whole lot of pressure on it. We just want it there to hold it and support it. We don't need to lift the truck up. Now another thing I like to do, just to make sure that I know my bumper's not going to move too much and it is supported, I put the jack stands to hold it up, but now I'm going to put a strap on each corner to pull the bumper towards the truck, going towards the front. So I'm just going to find a section on the bumper itself to hook my strap to. Then I'm going to run the other end all the way down so I meet up with my axle here. I'll pull my strap nice and taut. That way I have pressure going up and towards the front. Now if we come to our impact structure on the very end here, we're going to have 2 bolts going vertically. We're going to remove those 2 bolts. So I'll grab a 21mm socket and pull them out. We're going to remove the 2 bolts on the other side as well. And don't worry, the bumper still has a few more bolts holding it in place, so once we get the ones on the bottom removed, we're not going to have to worry about it falling. Now if we come to the side of our impact structure, we're actually going to have 2 more bolts holding it in place. And that's actually going to sneak behind the bumper, so we want to grab our 21mm socket and pull both of those out. Now I will mention that it is a little bit limited on space in here, so you may have to use a hand ratchet. And just to let you know, these bolts are pretty tight, so you want to get them loose. And I like to leave one in on each side, that way we don't have to worry about it falling down. But get it pretty loose, that way we just have a couple threads holding it in place. Now before we take that last bolt out and remove our impact structure, I want to remove this clip that has some wiring attached to it, so we don't have to worry about it. Just take a flat blade screwdriver, trim panel tool, or whatever you have available. You just want to pull that clip out and move it out of the way so we can get the whole impact structure out. So now I'm going to take that last bolt out that I had in hand tight to help hold it, and with an extra set of hands, we're going to remove the impact structure. It's not that heavy, but it is a good idea to have an extra set of hands so we can very carefully remove it without moving the bumper too much. Now, once you have your impact structure removed, you want to put your factory bolts back in and tighten them up so we don't have to worry about our bumper moving too much. Now with the next set of hands, we're going to lift our hitch up. We'll line up the holes that are in our hitch with the factory weld nuts that we removed the bolts from earlier, and we're actually just going to reuse the hardware to secure our hitch down. You want to get at least 1 bolt in hand tight on each side. That way the hitch will hold itself up, we don't have to worry about it falling. Then we can start working on getting the rest of the hardware in place. We'll grab our 21mm socket and tighten up all of our hardware. I'm going to come back and I'm going to torque all my hardware down to the specified amount in the instructions. You want to make sure you go back and repeat that for all your remaining hardware, including the bolts that are holding the bumper in place. Now that our hitch is torqued down, we're going to take that spare tire bracket, we're going to lift it up so it's sitting on top of our hitch back here, and we're going to reinstall the factory bolts. Go through the hitch into those U-nuts that we moved on the bottom of the bracket. And once we have them all in, we'll grab our 13mm socket again and tighten up the hardware. Now that our hitch and bumper is secure, we can remove the support bars and the straps that we had holding everything together. Now all I have left to do is put our spare tire back in place, and that'll finish up our installation and your look at the CURT Class 3 Custom Fit Trailer Hitch Receiver on our 2019 GMC Canyon.